What if I told you that the most important part of an aquatic center isn't the water? This video isn't about pools. It isn't about water slides. Nope. It's not about spas either. And it's not about the hundreds of visitors they welcome every day. It's about the technology quietly running everything behind them. Whether the aquatic center is for competitive sports, for children and adults learning how to swim, creating unforgettable memories for families, offering a place for relaxing and disconnecting, promoting health and well-being through wellness and different types of hydrotherapy, or like most cases, an aquatic center with a variety of all these activities. Every area has its own visitors, its own staff, its own schedules, its own operational challenges, and somehow they all need to work together. Otherwise, our calm and peaceful reception can start looking like a department store on a Black Friday. When the information doesn't get to the right place at the right time, small problems quickly become operational problems. The goal is not to make staff work faster, it's to remove the need for them to intervene in the first place. After all, most operational bottlenecks don't happen in the pool, they happen behind the computer. Staff members spend countless hours adding, modifying, confirming, searching for information across one or sometimes several different systems. The result? Long queues at the reception, work overload for staff, complaints, and frustration. All of this because all of the different users don't have access to the information, and our staff have to become the bridge or the carrier of this information from one or several different systems to a lot of different users. So let's explore some of the best ways to improve the situation. If at some point you feel like any of the things I'm showing you feel like a quantum leap in technology, let me tell you that is no longer the case. Let's think of the GPS for a second. Before you had to get a dedicated device, keep it charged, update the maps, and pay hundreds of euros for it. Nowadays, every smartphone has a GPS integrated that is faster and much more accurate, yet is easier to use and way more accessible. The same principle applies to most things I'm about to show you. And don't worry, I'm going to tell you all the implications and requirements in case you want to implement any of them. So let's begin with one of the simplest ones to implement that can have the biggest impact: a website. What is that? It looks like it was made in 2010. One second. Yeah, the website team. We need a website way more into the future. This thing looks like prehistoric. I know, but the speed of technology nowadays, everything that has 10 years online feels like it was made a million years ago. Alright, thanks. We need a website. Come on people, I'm trying to make a video here. It needs to be up to date, not like from a spacecraft a million years into the future. Thank you. Okay, no more jokes. What we need is a modern website. Today, websites shouldn't just tell you what the facility is about, even though that's important, and that's why we say it in the first page. But it also should help users find everything they're looking for within seconds. Whether they're looking to check out the facilities, for example, we offer that opportunity. They want to find out more about swimming and what we offer in that regard. Maybe the thermal areas, the water park, the sunbeds, the swimming lessons, and more. Maybe they just want to know the pricing of everything. The website should guide them naturally. Every answer they find here is one less email, one less phone call, one less interruption to the staff, and one less person going into the reception, queuing in line just to find out more about something they could have just learned on the website. So let's take a look at what that experience can look like. Let's go here into the homepage, and then we can check out everything that the facility offers. So we have all the information needed. We also have shortcuts for them in case they want to reserve a swimming lane, lane swimming, or private coaching. So let's go from the beginning in all the different aspects. In swimming, we have, first of all, the schedule. People, it's always concerning about the schedule of the classes. Can I make it? Can I not? We providing information. That's one less phone call we're getting, right? And then we have here the different types of swimming. So they have competitive, swim clubs, and water polo. And then we have stroke analysis, race preparation, open water, and then adult confidence coaching. For that, we have lane swim, and then we have private coaching. If we click here on reserve a lane, the first thing we find is the calendar. So we need to choose the desired date. I feel like going on a Sunday. And now we can choose the duration. How long do I want to go for? I'm going to choose 1 hour. And I can see that I cannot go at 6 a.m., at 11, at 2, and 6 p.m. The pool is full, I guess. So I'm going to choose 7 a.m. After choosing the time, I can then select the amount of swimmers. Let's say that I want to go with my spouse. So I click here, swimmers, and then I can continue. When I click on continue, there is another question. Anything else? A locker rental? That sounds interesting. I didn't know they offer this service. But now, since I see it here, I can book that. Towel rental, reusable water bottle, or snack bar credit. Why would I need credit? Well, in case you're sending your child for a lesson and you don't want to give them cash because you never know what they do. They might lose it. They might buy some candy outside the swimming pool that you don't want them to buy. So you can fill up their credit. You can do a lot of things, and all of this is as you desire to do it. So let's go and continue here. As you can see, I'm booking as Felix because I'm logged in. But if I was not logged in, I could just log out and then continue as guest. Now I'm going to type my name and then some email address, and then I continue. Here I have different options for payment. I can pay by card or I can pay using my mobile phone. However, I want to pay. But if I wanted to log in again as member, we could use some credits that I have stored. So as you can see, it says account credit apply, and I have to pay nothing. That's for swimming. If we go to the thermal area, now we have all the amenities that they offer here. For example, cold plunge pool. I'm not a fan, but it exists. Contrast therapy, finishing sauna, and then all the other things. If you want to book this thing, you can do it right here on the website. You don't need to figure out if there is a spot or call the facility. Again, very simple. We're going on the Monday this time. We can select the time. 5 is not available. Very nice. And then I'm gonna go again with my wife. I continue, and then the process repeats. What about the water park? Water park has what it offers. So it has some wave, pool, and lazy river. It has the Meridian drop, which looks fun, and then you can buy tickets. Whenever you try to buy tickets, you need to choose the date that you're going, and then the type of tickets. Let's say that I'm going myself and my 2 children, and then the process repeats, locker rental, etc. Now, very interesting, we also have sunbeds. The sunbeds has a little different booking flow. First, it tells you how much is each one of them, and you can see that you can rent them at $12 half day or 20 full day. And the same applies for the premium lounger and the shaded cabana or cabaña if you speak Spanish. Here we have some interactive map, and then we see the ones that are taken and the ones that are available. So let's say that we want to take P1. We choose the date that we want to take P1, and then we need to choose if it's half day or full day. So let's go full day. I'm going to rent a few towels because I forgot mine, and then we continue with the payment or the booking flow that you desire. That's great there. For the swimming lessons, we have a bunch, and then we have filters. We can filter by children, we can filter by adults, and then just reserve the spot in the lesson. As you can see, this lesson only happens on Mondays and Tuesdays. So let's choose Monday. The participants is going to be 2, and then we can get any of the add-ons. Add-ons or additional items while purchasing a services are an amazing way to let your users know of additional service you offer or to upsell something that you might upsell. They work so well that you have to say 20 times, I don't want a dessert or an extra compliment whenever you're purchasing something online or food at the kiosk. So these things actually work, even though it might be annoying for me that I don't eat desserts that often, but a lot of people will buy them, so it's a great tool to use. Besides that, we have other things that people can be curious about or that they might need your staff for. For example, they want to know all the services that you offer because there might be one that I'm not taking advantage of. So here you can see swimming lessons, all of them, Olympic swimming, all of them, thermal waters, the day pass for the park, the aquatic fitness that we offer, and then the different memberships. You have it all in there. What about pricing? I just want to see. Well, I just show you it, but we can see it again. Here is all the pricing of all the activities. And there is one more thing that people needs to know. My membership, I need to add a family member. My cousin is coming to visit. I need to remove my girlfriend because she doesn't belong to my family anymore, or I got divorced, whatever. That's why you also have a portal. So people here can see that they have $95 on account credit. Very useful for my family members, which is Jamie Johnson and Rayleigh Johnson. So I can delete one of them and maybe add another one, which is going to be Felix Jr. Johnson. There. So I gave away one of my kids and I grabbed another one that had better grades at school. So by allowing the managing of the portal, maybe somebody lost the QR code. They never received the email. Most likely they type it wrong. It's not the fault of the facility that people can make these type of mistakes, but sadly it's their responsibility to figure it out. Well, with a very nice website or system, people can check out their QR codes in there. They have everything they did. They're telling you that they didn't attend this extra class that you're charging. Well, in the history, tracked by your bracelet or by your phone or by your QR code, it says that you came to the thermal circuit on July 26th. So you relax and now you don't want to pay. So a lot of friction that you can eradicate by having a very nice website. By the way, the only way in which you can have friction with somebody is if you're face to face. If I'm going to a restaurant and my waiter is not behaving politely or whatever, or my food is not that, then I have the opportunity to complain. But whenever I order a pizza and I feel it has not enough pepperoni, I guess the complaint is only a form online and the friction doesn't escalate. So you will reduce a lot of friction by digitizing a lot of things. Now let's talk about the implications of having this website. So the first challenge is to develop a new website, which isn't challenging anymore. There is AI that can build beautiful websites in minutes or in hours. And then any nice designer can take advantage of the new advancements in technologies and build beautiful designs very quickly. The only issue that you will have here is designing the proper flow for your users, where to put everything and design the brand to your center. But what about the back end to handle the different facilities, different schedules, different lessons, memberships, discounts, etc.? Well, way back then, in 2015 more or less, the back end was in charge of all of these things. Not anymore. We're gonna use a booking engine, but I'm gonna get there in a second. Before that, let's talk about the second implication. How do we get people to the new website? How do we make people find the right place? Well, it used to be that you have to tell them you need to go into www.aquaticcenter/swimming/reservation/adults or something like that. It was very difficult to make people aware of this and actually make them navigate there. We're gonna solve this using a technology that is not so new, but it's gonna solve it very easily. The QR code. We can create a specific QR codes for a specific services, and you can allocate them nearby the service or in the reception, in the parking lot, or you can send them via email or put them in a magazine or in a brochure. And the best part is that you can create dedicated landing pages for each service. For there not to be any navigation, just scan, click, book, and done. Amazing, right? But what about the back end? What about the functionality? I even told you that the QR codes can be their own page, but how does everything stays interconnected? How does the availability of lessons stays interconnected with everything? The QR code, the app, the website. Well, that is the job of the booking engine. Let's go there now. In US, people used to say when I went to college, the greatest thing since sliced bread. This means that the sliced bread was one of the greatest inventions. Well, I'm gonna show you the bread. We're gonna go into bookla.com and we're gonna have the greatest thing since IT. This bread will allow you to throw anything at it and make it amazing. So you can make a hot dog, a hamburger, a sandwich, a focaccia, whatever you need. We're gonna sign in here When we land here on booklet, the first thing you see is services. And as you can see, we have water park, thermal circuit, some beds, private coaching, and then we have some group of services. We have guided activities, all of the ones that require some monitor to guide them. And then we have swimming. We have adult swimming and kids swimming. All of these services, they are connected to the website. They're also connected to the QR codes, and they can be connected to the futuristic website. For example, this one is interconnected with the website we just reviewed. So after choosing your swimming lesson and the amount of participants, you only need to add your name and your email. Click continue and finish with your payment details. By the end, you will have a proper booking with a QR code. And in case you wanted to connect it to the very old interface that you have because you feel like your staff will never get used to the new one, you could do that too. So you can take advantage of the new technologies while keeping your old interface, however you like it. That's the reason I said that anybody can build your website, because building the website is not difficult anymore. The complex part of any website was the back end. And this will offer you a back end that you can stack up as many front ends as you like. So imagine this as the super duper huge bread, and then you can build a castle of whatever you like on top of this bread. The best food ever. I'm kind of hungry, I guess this is why I'm using so much food analogy. Let me also show you the resources, because one thing is the service and another thing is the resources. The water park itself is a resource. The thermal circuit, it's a resource, all the space together. The teaching pool is a resource, and the fitness pool is also another resource. We also have active staff. This is the people that is working. They are also resources, because you need a children's instructor together with a pool for you to be able to provide the service itself. And then we have the sunbeds. Each one of them is a resource. And then in the main pool, we made it even more specific. We have each lane individually as a resource. So every lane has its unique schedule, function, and services that are linked to it. Whenever we come back here to the services, let's see, for example, I don't know, some guided activities like aqua aerobics. We see that there is an aerobic instructor as the main resource, but there is a connected resource. It's called teaching pool. So this means that both of these resources should be available and free for them to be able to host this class. And then each resource can have its own capacity, so much for the instructor as for the pool. So this is already putting some order into something that is very chaotic or very difficult to contain in one single place. Then we have the pricing, because the service needs to have a pricing, and you can choose the currency if you like. You can set the tax rate that you need, and then you can have different prices. For example, it's 65, but what if you want to make it 60? Let's make it 60 and update. This change that I made will replicate into the QR code landing, into the app, into the old website, the futuristic website, and the modern website, and it will just be shared across all the platforms. You only need to manage one single back end. Additionally, this handles other things. Let me show you one more trick. When we click here on plugins, you're gonna see some plugins that I'm using right now, but if you click here on add plugins, you're gonna see the list of all of them. Booking rules, promo codes, service add-ons, all of these things you're gonna need to manage such huge facility. For example, booking rules. Let's go there right now and check what they are. As you can see, I have a cancellation policy 1 and cancellation policy 2. I have two different booking rules, and then I have a rescheduling rule. Whenever I create another booking rule, let's call this sample rule, I'm gonna choose a priority to see which rule comes first, and then the amount of hours before the event so you can get a refund. If I type here 50 hours and then here 50%, that means that if you cancel your booking with more than 50 hours in advance, you will get 50% refund. And how do I change that? Just by editing this number. If I add here 100% and then I add here 12 hours, that means that if you cancel before 12 hours, you will get 100%. And I create this rule. Now this rule applies all over the interface. And then the members portal will be updated. And then if you wanna automate an email so all your members know about the new cancellation policy, you can. You are eliminating all the friction. And this is the place in which you can connect all of the different things, all of the crazy ideas that you have. Now that you know that connecting things is not an issue anymore, we can talk about the next stage: the access control, the automation of processes, reinforcing the security of your assets, and more importantly, enhancing the safety of your members. Let's go first with the access control. Usually, you have a parking lot and people access your building. How do you control the entry to this parking lot? Do you monitor that every person parking there is a member? Do you know that every person that is parked there has to actually attend a class, or they're just using the parking lot because it's conveniently placed? You can eradicate this by allocating parking access only to people with a daily membership or with a day activity for that amount of time that they need to be in your facilities. When I'm talking about automating processes, I mean taking repetitive tasks out of the hands of the front desk reception. This person should be there to handle real things like, I cannot find my kit in the pool, or I left my backpack here and it's not there anymore. There is an injury there, what should we do? Or I have bigger concerns like, is my credit card valid? Why my money is not refunded yet? All these types of sensitive things that a human should intervene. But if I'm going there to get a day pass for them to take notes, put my data on the system, and give me a pre-programmed bracelet, this thing can be automated. So picture this. I arrive there and there is a self-service kiosk. I touch the pass that I need to get, and then I get my bracelet. Amazing. The bracelet will come pre-programmed with all the specific access for this day pass or membership. Let's talk now about enhancing the security of your assets, because they cost money and must be protected. Some time ago, I worked in a project called Fit Bubble, an autonomous gym. It was a bubble that you go there to work out. The issue was that people was taking the equipment out of the gym, stealing the equipment. So what we did was added an NFC tag to every single piece of equipment. So every time somebody left the door with the equipment, first there was an alarm to indicate, please return it. And if they didn't, because we knew who was inside, we could charge it to their debit card. If you provide towels or equipment using the bracelet, you could charge people for the stolen items. But if you install an alarm, you could help me that every time I go to the pool and forget to return the towel and get back home and accumulate a bunch of towels there for me to return later on the weekend, I will be glad that there is an alarm letting me know, hey, you're about to take a towel, please return it. That will reduce this incident a lot. By the way, these NFC tags are like 2 to 5 cents if you buy them in bulk. Let's talk now about the safety of our members. How can technology help us protect the members? Well, the reality is that there is technology capable of doing so. By using cameras and pattern recognition, they can instantly alert the lifeguard of the exact location whenever an incident is happening in the pool. So the lifeguard can quickly take a look or perform a rescue maneuver if necessary. Because nobody wants to lose a life for a mistake or for a distracted lifeguard, or because the lifeguard was busy saving somebody else. The reality is that for 4, 5, 6, or maybe 8 lifeguards to monitor a hectic pool with 200 kids in the middle of the summer, everybody's having fun, can be a challenging task. So technology can come here to the help. Note that I said to the help and not to the rescue, because technology cannot rescue anybody yet. That is the job of the lifeguard. But surely they can help the lifeguard to save a life, and that is an amazing thing. Let's talk about the implementation of everything I just mentioned. I told you I was going to explain how to implement everything. Well, everything that I just mentioned can be also connected to the booking engine that I presented before. Now, for the hardware, the equipment, and the tangible things, you need to contact with a local provider, and then provide the local provider with the contact of the Bookla team, and they will gladly work together to connect everything and have it working in no time. There is one more thing that I want to mention that is of high interest to you. The truth is that all these things that you just saw, it could be already paid for or partially paid for. There is a lot of money going into digitalization or improvements of facilities, such as aquatic centers or huge gyms or polysportiums or Olympic centers. Governments want to improve their city, either private or community owned. And the truth is that they need to spend this money. And don't worry, you don't need to do a lot of homework. I already did it for you. So I'm going to leave over here the grants that are active for the US and over here the ones that are active for Europe. This is not all of them. This is the ones that are more relevant for aquatic centers. Of course, there can be much more, and by the time you see this video, the information might have changed, but I would suggest you looking into these ones first. Well, my friends, every amazing journey gotta have an end. And this is the end of ours. I really enjoy making this video for you guys, and I hope you enjoy watching it as much as I did making it. And if you really like this video for any reason, please share a like with us. It will mean a lot. If you have a friend that runs an aquatic center, that works in one, or that likes them, share this video with them. And please subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with the latest releases. Thanks a lot for watching one more time. See you next time.